Alright, hey, what's going on there, guys? Earthmaster here. Man, it's just been busy nonstop for me when it comes to my day job. Pretty crazy. Anyway, it is September 2nd already, 2018, 8:12 p.m. here on the West Coast. And I can finally relax. Isn't that crazy work? Man, I gotta find a different job. Anybody out there hiring? Anyone hiring out here for full-time work? Okay. Anyway, taking a look, I want to cover something real quick. Something that happened in the space weather category. Space weather news about 159 years ago. Okay, obviously I was not alive. And I don't think anybody here was alive either, unless maybe you're a vampire or got some special powers. I don't know. Anyway, 159 years ago, folks. I'm sure a lot of you folks have heard about it. Called the Carrington event. Major solar event that happened here on Earth. This is off the spaceweather.com website, and it's really interesting articles. So I suggest if you get a chance, head over and check it out. Just real quick, covering a little bit of detail stuff. It happened about exactly 159 years ago, September 2nd, 1859. They're stating down here, as the day unfolded, the gathering storm electrified telegraph lines, shocking technicians, and setting their telegraph papers on fire. Okay, this was all caused by solar flares, solar activity. And it's interesting. I mean, it could happen again easily. And if you think about it, back in 1859, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have, these electric cars, any kind of, just everything around us. Wherever you're at right now, I guarantee you, if you're listening to me, obviously, there's electronics everywhere. I mean, here in my room, I'm an electronic freak, so I have everything from CB radios, FM transmitters, ham radio, microphones all over, computers, backup laptops, everything. I mean, I have a lot of stuff. Fans. I gotta have my fans. So yeah, all this stuff would. I don't know if it would survive an event like what happened back in 1859. But I would suggest that you read it, because it could happen again, and it would ultimately have a major effect on society and the culture here in the North American continent, as well as, of course, other countries. But for here, it would definitely cause some crazy stuff. But anyway, there's a big article on it too in the Wikipedia.org website. It's just amazing. Solar activity is awesome. I love covering solar activity, but it's dead. I mean, right now everything is calm. I mean, there's no sunspots on the sun. The sun is blank, no sunspots. I mean, it's very boring when it comes to space weather activity. I remember back in the 90s, late 90s, it seemed like we had 10 or 12 different sunspots just on one side of the sun. It's really depressing. So we're in a minimum, obviously. But I do like covering solar weather when we do have it. Hopefully that picks up here over the next few years. Yeah, definitely a cool article here on it. Trying to see exactly what the hold on one second here. Trying to see exactly what the flare size was. I'm not for sure exactly how big it is, but yeah, I'll leave a link here below for you guys, and you can check it out. I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but covering earthquake data real quick. Not real quick, because we're going to go into detail and cover pretty much everything that's going on here. Latest earthquake being a 3.2 there in the Mediterranean Sea region, where there's obviously some activity going on, which is not abnormal, but definitely we're seeing some minor activity there. Earthquake ranges in about the 4 to 3 range as well. So we're still watching that area for, that's a hazardous area. They've had some major earthquakes in history, in past history in that area as well. So it's always good to pay close attention to that region. 4.3 earthquake striking up here in the northeast part of the North American continent. This is coming about 10 kilometers below the surface there. Bonavista, Canada region. Of course, nobody felt it. It's kind of ways out there in the ocean. But it is some interesting activity, as we don't really see too much earthquake activity towards the northeast over here. Alaska showing a little bit of increased activity, which is not uncommon after a big earthquake. They did have that major earthquake there quite a few weeks ago now. We're seeing some threes and some twos there. Obviously, probably some more below that as well. If I were to bring the magnitudes down a little bit, right about there. I try to keep it about 2.5 and above for earthquake activity. Let me see here. That way, it just covers everything. I mean, it's kind of, we don't want to clutter it too much here on the globe, but 2.5 and above for this globe from the USGS, and also last 50 earthquakes from the EMSC website, which picks up all the earthquake activity over here in this part of the world right here. But other than that, folks, nothing major to report. I do like to point out some specific activity when it does happen, and that's these deep earthquakes over here. This 4.2, about 424 kilometers below the surface. A couple days ago, Fiji Islands region had a pretty deep earthquake as well. 587 kilometers there, that 4.4, just south of the Fiji Islands region. Like I said, we've seen a lot of deep movement along the Pacific Plate for well, for the past couple weeks there. I mean, we've seen that big big one there south of the Fiji Islands region quite some time ago now. But so the deep activity here in Fiji is not uncommon. It's a typical place where we see really deep earthquakes occurring in this section here along the Pacific Plate, and it's an ever-growing planet, right? This thing continues to grow that we're on, and it continues to provide mountains and you know, beautiful peaks and valleys and all that good stuff that plate tectonics create, which is pretty cool. I mean, if that were to stop, then we'd be in trouble, I think. So earthquakes, all that stuff is it's a necessity for this beautiful planet that we're on here. So anyway, a couple fives going on the western part of the Pacific Plate here, 5.3, 5.2, and a 5.1 down here. But other than that, folks, not a lot of major activity. A little 2.6 here in the continent of Australia. This is from the EMSC website, 2.6. You don't see a whole lot of activity down there in Australia for some reason. It's pretty interesting. I can't give you a specific reason why we're not seeing a lot of activity. I'm sure they do, it's just not being reported. I'll have to maybe check the Australian, what is it, GeoNet, I believe, website. Covering California, I just had a 2.8, I believe, here on the San Andreas Fault System. Okay, 3.4, take that back. Looks like they may have upgraded it a little bit. You guys probably seen that come into the live seismograph stations that I have pulled up here. Obviously it's not on there now, and I can't go back that far, but the station right here, San Andreas Geophysical Observation in Hollister, California. The station right here is the station to monitor activity there along the San Andreas Fault System there. So a little bit of activity occurring with the San Andreas Fault System, and some activity up here in the north of the bay around the geysers region. It's just a hot spot of geyser activity. Obviously something heating it up, right? Lava, magma, well below the surface, heating up water. and people love to jump in the water and just bathe and pay some big money for that stuff. But not me. I'm not anywhere near a volcano or magma, I should say. But other than that, folks, there's just not a whole lot going on in space weather. Like I said, it's pretty quiet. I will leave a link on the Carrington event, which is an awesome read. I think Wikipedia covers it the best. I will leave that link in the update video description, and you guys definitely have to check it out. 4.1 latest earthquake right now in the Mexico region, right there at about 12 kilometers below the surface. But yeah, just nothing really standing out right now. No major movement. But like I say, the Pacific Plate is rather active, and it definitely has been. And I'm sure we'll see a couple more big ones here before possibly a period of quietness. So we shall see what happens. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna jump off here. Like I say, I've been working all day, and I'm pretty hungry. Haven't had a chance to eat yet, so I'm a little bit on the shaky side. Maybe I should go get my blood sugar checked, make sure I'm not diabetic or something. Anyway, folks, have a good night, and we'll chat to you guys a little bit later. Like I say, if you haven't subscribed, please do. That way you can be updated and notified on any future updates and future videos and live streams. Alright, folks, peace out. We'll chat you guys a little bit later on. Like I say, be safe out there. Always have an earthquake plan, and always be prepared, because you never know what's going to happen out there. It's a crazy world we live in, that's for sure. Peace.